No, this is take two, right?
There we go. Donnie, watching Houston, I mean, their defensive front is pretty legit. Just how much of a concern is that going into this game blocking those guys?
It's a big concern. It is a big concern. The whole defense is a big concern. They got 10 starters back. And I think the one that's not a returning starter is coming from like Wisconsin or somewhere like that. So he was playing somewhere else. And so he's a good player too. And it starts up front. They are really good at defensive end, and they're really big and strong inside. And, they're fourth in the country, I think, in overall total defense. That's pretty good. And I think they're first in their league in like almost every category defensively. So obviously it's showing that they're playing well. And that'll be a huge challenge. The offensive line, Coach Shankwater's been going crazy all week. I mean, he knows that it's going to be a real big challenge. We're going to have to find some way to move the ball and, block those guys and help the offensive line out a little bit. So, we're going to have to scheme them a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the O-line. Like, does Shank try to – I guess you don't want to overemphasize it, but do you get on them even more throughout the week?
Well, I don't think you want to scare them, and build them up to be, more than they are. They're good enough. The thing about it is the kids know. They watch tape. We watch tape with them. They watch tape on their own. They see the stats, all that kind of stuff. We give them a scouting report. It has all that in there. So, they look at that and they go, oh, whatever. So we haven't played Houston. That's the thing, though. You haven't played a team, so you still don't really know. And you don't know who they've played. You look at it and you go, okay, that team's pretty good too, though. So, but our kids respect them. We have a lot of respect for them, no question about that. And like I said, I don't know if they have any weaknesses defensively. Obviously they're not. They haven't shown it. So we're concerned. But at the same time, that's college football. You know what I'm saying? That's college football. So our kids like a challenge. We like a challenge, and we'll have to go play well on the road.
Having said that, one of East Carolina's bigger wins was beating Case Keenum and Houston here in Greenville for a conference title.
Yeah.
You don't get to play Houston that many more times.
No.
And so talk about the sense of urgency of
well, that's a great memory. I appreciate you bringing that one up because I'm flashing back to that was one of the best days of my coaching career, winning that second conference championship out here in the stadium. So that was an exciting day. It was exciting when Van Estridge, who I'd recruited, and had known for a long time then in the family, intercepts that ball. And Casey Keenum turned out to be pretty good. Now, what happened later, when Coach McNeil got here, we went down there, and I think he was 22 out of 24 in the first half for about 300 yards, whatever. So he kind of took that back out on us a couple of years later. So it's a tough place to play. I have bad memories of playing down there. I have good memories of playing them here. They got a long list of great players that have played there, And Coach Holderson was at that game. He was the offense coordinator for Houston when we beat them. Now he's the head coach, whatever. There's another tie, Brandon Jones, who was our offensive line coach here with Ruffin McNeil. B. Jones, as we call him. We love him to death and the whole family. He's the offensive line coach. So it'll be good to see him, okay? It'll be nicer to beat him, you know what I'm saying? You always want to beat the guys even more, right? But, yeah, they got a good team. They're 5-1 or whatever. They lost the first game. I think they were leading most of the game against Texas Tech, who I guess is doing pretty well. So I don't have to worry about B. Jones, though. I don't have to worry about Blake's problem over there. We got enough concerns with their defense. It's pretty good, though.
How do you feel like the guys have kind of come off the bye week as far as energy, intent, all that stuff offensively?
I thought Sunday we were a little like we'd been on vacation, having to knock the rust off, kind of getting it going a little bit. Then they had another day on Monday, which is their big academic day. Tuesday they came back, though, they had the energy. You know what I'm saying? It's been good. We had good practice Tuesday, a lot of energy. Everybody act like they wanted to be there. That's important because, you know what I'm saying, you got to do the work part. You can't just play the games. And then today was really good. Today was really good. And normally, okay, which is pretty much true of any team, you play about like you practice. And so we've had 2 good practices. We're anticipating playing pretty well.
We've talked a lot about the offensive weapons you guys have. It's tough to get everybody the ball. I know y'all tried to get Josiah the ball, maybe not as successful as you guys maybe want to be. Is that kind of an emphasis in the second half of the year?
Well, it is. And again, I think we do have guys that we're trying to get the ball to that have done it. It's still just a consistency deal with us. We beat ourselves. We do it in practice. I show them every day, you know what I'm saying, okay, snap was on the ground. Okay, that's not a skill at college, you got to say. You should be able to snap the ball, catch the ball, run the play. You should be able to know who to block. you're not always going to be able to block them. Now, you get a matchup. Sometimes the other guy wins. Sometimes you win. Okay, you're not always going to tackle the guy. Sometimes he's going to make you miss. Whatever. That's good. But that's not what I'm talking. We beat ourselves sometimes because we just go the wrong way, or we run the wrong route. Okay, or we drop the ball. You know what I'm saying? Those are skills that have to be understood. So, Josiah is our best speed option. Our best deep option. He's been inconsistent. When he's been good, he's been good. We got to get him playing better. But we got a lot of guys, like that can get the ball. You only get so many snaps, That's the thing about it, and you got to make them count. So when we've moved the ball, and scored points, we've won the game. That's what I told them. The last thing I told the quarterbacks today is just look at it. We won 3 ball games. We scored 52, 42, and even 31. We got to go score points. We know that's the name of the game in college football right now. It's a wide open game. People are playing a lot more aggressive. Defenses are playing more aggressive. Because of that, they're making plays, but they're also giving up plays. Most of the defenses are, because they're being so aggressive right now with trying to make takeaways and the blitzing game and just all the different schemes. And this team, Houston, has not shown a lot of their package because they haven't had to. They're like most teams. They're only going to blitz you if they have to blitz you. If the front 4 can get pressure, we're going to play it with just them. You can't get pressure with those 4, then they bring 5. They can't get there at 5, they start bringing 6. Nobody's made them have to bring 6 or 5 very much, you know what I'm saying? But they can. And they do a lot of different coverages on the back end, and they can do that because their front 4 is so good at getting pressure.
So how do you combat some of that?
Well, you have to stay ahead of the chains, you know what I'm saying? Not to give away too much of the strategy, but, this is a game you might have to pitch them backwards, like I say in baseball, meaning you may have to, throw the ball early and run the ball late and try to keep them off balance a little bit, for example. You get in 3rd and long, it's going to be ugly now against these guys because they pin their ears back in those defensive ends they've got. Reminds me of the guys at Tulane last year that were so good, and you get behind in the game, and boy, you're struggling. So you've got to be able to stay ahead of the chains and move the ball and keep them off guard. You got to help those O-linemen. We got to use the tight ends a little bit in protection. We got to use the running backs a little bit in protection, like that. So we don't want to turn it into an all-throw game, but we'll have to throw the ball well to beat these guys.
Speaking of throwing the ball, Ryan Jones got banged up a little bit against UCF. Do you expect to have him back this week?
Yeah.
And that tight end be at full power?
I do. He's back. He's practiced all week. He's ready to go now. I guess Zach Bird is out. Zach Bird had a hand injury that he got hurt in practice, so we are 1 tight end down. So, we still got 3. Brian Gagg is almost back. We're hoping to get him back. He might be an emergency guy that could go for the game. Probably more likely next week, though, to get him back because Zach's going to be out for a couple of weeks. But Ryan's looked good all week. Yeah, he's continuing to show that he can be an outstanding player.
With Avery, I know you guys are high on moving him to center. Maybe a little transition early in the year. How do you think he's played kind of lately?
Well, I think he's played pretty good, except for right there in the middle when he got injured the last play of South Carolina. He missed 2 weeks of practices. Now, he didn't miss the games, but he didn't start the one game because he didn't practice any that week. The next week, he only practiced like on Thursday. I thought, his play, like anybody's, would suffered a little bit from not practicing. Besides that, he's been steady. It's been a good move playing him at center. We miss him at guard, but we like having him at center. He is he's smart, he's strong, he's so much quicker, than most centers are. So it gives you some things you can do with him at center. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
See y'all.
Donnie, you're
Yeah.